All right, now I got to find the right button. I'm multitasking. Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
I heard you
Betty.
rustling around back there. I knew you were working away.
Oh.
Hi.
Good evening, Betty. I was telling Margot the story about talking with you, and I may. Well, here I am going. I may be telling that. I don't think we got too many people watching yet, so but I won't mention who it's about when I do that. So just be aware. Yeah. And want to I'm putting the reminder out in the chat about if people want to participate to bring their spoons and stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what ours is talking about is for tonight's show. That's okay. Welcome. This is Eyes of Indigo. I'm Margot. This is Iris beside me. And woohoo, we've been doing this since September of 2020. And
Yes.
tonight's show,
Oh.
whoops, Iris is also our producer.
Yes. And
She is
I'm trying to act like I know what I'm doing all the time.
she is our co-host and our producer. And nice to meet you too, Miss Betty. Very nice. And we've been doing this since September of 2020. You can see back issues on Facebook or listen to them auditory as well, Spotify, iTunes, or watch past videos on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you're here tonight, you can you can talk to us live, typing in the chats or typing in the comments, depending on which platform you're using. If you're interested to know more about our credentials, about how we do this, why we do this, what led us to this, please feel free to check out the very first episode called The Prequel back in September of 2020, if you're new to our show. And if you are new to our show, hi, welcome to the channel. And if you are a regular to this show, hello, welcome back. We're so happy to see you guys. Please, anyone, everyone, feel free to say hi. You just chat. I'm here. Yo, hello. The sky is purple and the salamander is licking my toe. You know, whatever you are. Right. That's what came to my mind. Okay, and
The
just
cow's gone over the moon and the salamander is licking my toe. Is it safe?
exactly. And feel free, but say hi. Let us know you're there. We love knowing our audience is engaged with us at any time. You're always welcome to ask questions. So
And
tonight,
Tammy's with us.
there you go. Hi, Tammy, too. Absolutely.
And there's Betty up there. Yeah.
There you go. Equal time for everybody. Well, while we can. Absolutely. So the purpose of our show is our motto that was generously given to us by Iris's sister, and it is discussing weird stuff in a rational way. And that is the purpose, the focus of our whole journey with this podcast. Bringing light to stuff that is hard to understand otherwise, and having a sense of humor about it as we go is absolutely required. So feel free to laugh with us as we go. Tonight's episode is, Irish, can you tell us more about this?
Spoon bending. It's our connection to everything. And we'll get more into that. But recognizing every element on our plane has existence or essence. I'm sorry. Yes, it all exists too, but has an essence, and we can connect to it is a gateway to understanding the power and influence we have within. So we're asking you to join us as we discuss all this and explore your innate and divine abilities. And the spoons that you see on the
Pictures.
promotional, yeah, those are like, well, one of them, the two of them are on the left are spoons that Margot bent, and the ones on the right are from, I don't remember. We were bending them one weekend. We were playing with, and then the ones on the right, when I went to um, um, Goodwill when we were going to play with spoons, and I bought a bunch of new spoons. I ended up coming home going, where am I going to put these spoons? Because I don't want to mix them up with my regular silverware. So I made a bouquet. And I have a couple of my bent spoons in there, and then my straight spoons. And it's been interesting because well, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, oh, there's Margot's. Yes.
Yeah. This is a standard issue stainless steel spoon. And whoop, you can't see it because it's bent over on the inside. But here's one that I've bent 3 times. I bent it at a 45-degree angle, and then I bent it all the way, and then I bent this to where it is now. So now it's like this instead of like that. So this one I've actually bent 3 times. Guys, watch this. Yep, there's one of hers, a bigger, stiffer.
This is when it was bent the other way, and now it's got a little kink because when I straightened it up, it wanted to bend the other way, so I bent it the other way.
Hold it up closer to your face so it'll stay in focus. Unless, well, you're right. Bring it to the camera. Yeah. There, yeah. Give us a 360. Yeah. It's a real spoon.
Yeah.
The time that yeah, these are real. These are
yeah.
The next time that I tried this first by myself. The second time I was doing it with Iris and a friend, and when I did it on a different spoon, I snapped it in half with my bare hands. This is stainless steel. You two can do this, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Yeah, these are real.
Yeah.
And my husband tried it. I showed him the video. Iris, you want to run that crawler that shows the video of where I learned it and where other people can learn it?
Yeah.
Ariana Barrett is a life coach, and she uses teaching spoon bending as a part of her life coaching and inspiration for empowering people. Well, my husband watched the video, and he did it too. See, there's mine. There's his.
So if it's you're a wedding gift and you don't want to really mess it up,
and now it's a wedding gift.
Want to think twice about which spoons you use, but yes, you too can do this. We will show you how.
Absolutely.
And in fact, I want to
show something else. Yeah, I love this one. With my mind, and it's a cute fuzzy kitty holding out his little jelly bean toes towards a baby food spoon. It's the cutest little Persian fluffy butt.
And he's so intent on bending that spoon. Yeah.
Yes, he is. He's very cute. So, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, before we actually get into how to do it, maybe let's talk about, one of the first things that comes into people's minds is the Matrix. And, the kid sitting there and the spoons bend in all different kinds of ways. And Neo's looking at him and he goes, what you have to realize is it's not bending the spoon, it's realizing the spoon isn't there, which is a little bit different in the Matrix, but there has been people that have said our world is our own illusion. So in a way, it does kind of feed into that. There's lots of theories. It's just hard to prove any of them. But I can remember as a kid talking to inanimate objects or feeling the energy off of them and recognizing, my dolls had so much energy. They scared me,
Well,
but
I can't feel that way. I believe that became a movie called Toy Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were not alone in that perception. Yeah.
And then I would sit at the table, and then suddenly I'd realize this table has energy. This table, I can talk to this table if I want. And what was really cool was a few years ago, well, more than a few years ago, I got a bunch of uh, science fiction books, and one of them is a bunch of short stories. And this one of the stories in it is about this girl who was homeless on the street. This guy takes her in because it's raining, and he felt like, oh, she's my daughter's age. I need to take care of her. It was like a holiday weekend or something. And he takes her to his house, and while she's in the house, unbeknownst to him, she's talking to everything. Everything in the house is talking to her. She goes in and she's like, "Oh, this must be his son's room or whatever," and the furniture's talking back to her and that kind of
Okay.
thing. And I'm like, I can relate to that. Because everything has essence and energy.
That's
So
right. Everything has some level of sentience and
yeah.
awareness. And the brave little toaster, Angela Kaiser says there's a book called that, and I'm
Yeah.
sure
Well, it's
it's
a
along
little
the same line.
movie. It's a little animated.
Or it's a little movie. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing that. Yeah. Can't remember what all of it's about, but yeah.
absolutely. Well, this practice of spoon bending is based on that theory that everything you can communicate with everything, and everything has a level of awareness of everything else. It's not compartmentalized. We're all connected in one way or another. The easiest way to explain the connection is energetically we're connected to each other. And
Hmm.
this spoon bending technique is a fun way to mess with it. If our viewers, guys and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys and gals, birds and dames, and everyone else, if you
Ladies
want
and germs.
ladles and germs, if you want to play along tonight, we strongly encourage it to go get a spoon or fork that you don't mind destroying. But
Here,
yeah,
you can
man,
take one of mine.
but look on the back of it and make sure that it says stainless steel back there. Okay. You don't want to be bending up silver. You don't want to be bending something that's aluminum, because anybody can bend aluminum. It doesn't prove the point. So get away from
Aluminum.
that. Aluminium, if you're a British, if you speak British English. So we'll prattle on just a little bit longer for anybody that wants to go grab a fork or a spoon. Guys, avoid knives. That's because you're going to be holding on to it, and we don't need to be grabbing blades. Do not do knives. Get a fork or a spoon that is stainless steel, that is some kind of steel, and you can play along. And we will guide you through it. We're going to try it ourselves here on camera, and we'll see what happens. We'll have fun with it. So far, it has worked for me every single time. And every single time that Iris has tried it so far, it's worked. Sometimes it worked spontaneously. Just say, "Oh, you want to bend?" Okay. She reached over and went, boop.
Yeah, I had been I had been looking at my spoons, and the reason I have so many is I do want to do this with my grandchildren. I want to, play around with it with them. And I was like, well, I can't sit here and keep practicing with all these spoons, because if I do, then I'm not going to have anything to share with them. And I'll have to make another trip to Goodwill and, take my magnifying glass so I can figure out if that's stainless steel. And but I had been going by and kind of talking both telepathically and out loud to the spoons and going, y'all look so nice in that cup. And I know I do want to bend you. I'm going to use you. I've been kind of, and then
Prepping
one
them.
day I was sitting at the table and it was like, I looked and I said, oh, so you're ready to be bent now? And I picked it up and I was like, oh, okay. And I said, no, I can't do y'all. I got to save some of y'all.
That'll make even more sense in a few minutes. We're going to talk you through actually having a conversation with the spoon. And Iris just let us into her world a little bit. That was awesome.
and welcome to my world.
Well, I totally get the point. Is it actually gets that easy once you have that level of understanding
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
actively participate in that. So absolutely, absolutely. So another place we wanted to start at was, what is spoon bending? And a lot of people have the idea that it is like that video, or sorry, the still you showed from the movie The Matrix, where they're just looking at the spoon, thinking about the spoon, and on its own, the spoon goes meow and bends on its own. Yeah, that's not what we're doing. Okay. The majority of spoon bending is done with minimal hand force. Most of the time, when you see a spoon bending on its own, that is actually an illusionist magician sleight of hand trick, or it's CGI in a movie, which means it's computer generated and it didn't really happen that way. What we're going to do tonight is actually bend what is a steel rod with your bare hands and almost minimal, well, yes, absolutely minimal effort. To start with, try it. All right. I mean, obviously, if you go, you
Yeah.
can totally green Hulk and bend it like crazy. But normally, under normal duress, and you can see, we're
You
trying.
can see it flex a teeny bit, but it's just not going. Yeah.
Yeah, that's as far as it goes. So that's where it started, and it's still there. So by the time we bend it, though, it's going to be a thing of going, eep, and you're not going to see our fingers getting, pinched and thumbs turning white to bend it. No, it's going to just go and bend on its own. And it's mind blowing when it happens to you. When you first do it, there's a word for what I'm looking for, and it shot right out of my mind. Your perception of reality changes because you're breaking the laws of physics. And that's actually very easy to do once you become aware of the fact you can do it. This is akin to people walking on fire, things like that.
You know what I'm hearing? It's not breaking the laws of physics,
Mm.
it's recognizing the laws that exist that we're not told about.
Ding, 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 ding. I don't have a bill. I'm in a different house. Yes. I'm at a different location tonight. So, yes,
Just
that's
tell me and I'll
exactly
do the
right.
bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are laws of physics that we have not been made privy to, which means this video may or may not make it on YouTube and Facebook eventually. So
If it disappears, you know
it
that it's.
disappears, we're on to something that maybe you should know about too, which was why Eyes of Indigo exists. We want you to know. We want you to know. So we've prattled a lot. Hopefully, if you want to participate, you've gotten a fork or a spoon. Of course, when this starts working and it works for you, please type in the comments what happened to your spoon. If you want, take a picture of it and post it on. Can other people post pictures on the Facebook Eyes of Indigo?
They can post pictures
You
on
can message it
in the
to us.
discussion. I think so, or you
You
can
can message it to.
comment. You can comment in the
You can post a picture in your Yeah, you can post a picture in your comments.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do it on the video comments, but you can be able to do it like where we
On Facebook.
yeah on our Facebook page.
Or you can message. You can
Email us
attach it to a message, Facebook Messenger, to me or Iris, and we will post it for you.
or email Iris at iriscarter.com. That's easy for people to remember.
No,
And then we can share it next week.
absolutely. Oh, you can see my computer in the spoon. All right, I know. And Angela when I first posted this. Angela said she tried it on a nail file and it snapped. It snapped in half, just like
Oh,
mine, it's like mine did.
was it a
So
stainless steel nail file?
I do not know. I would think it was.
I'm
Most of
assuming it
them.
wasn't an emery board.
There it goes. That would be a good sidestep. Absolutely. So there are, according to the lady that I learned this from, that Iris ran her name across, Ariana Barrett, she has like 12 different techniques for doing this. She shows 4 of them on her YouTube videos. You're welcome to go see those. And Ariana is a very interesting and fun person to watch and listen to. But essentially what we're going to do is I'm going to lead, they're 2 most popular and what I've seen be most successful techniques for this kind of spoon bending. I'm going to try with us tonight. And what was I going to say? All right. And essentially what happens is it bent first and then it snapped. Very good, Angela. Thank you. Good clarity. That's interesting. All right. So a lot of people want to know what's going to happen, and it's very simple. I'll lead you through a meditation that's obviously related to your spoon, and then we're going to set the spoon down, literally set it down, let go of it, stop touching it, and we're going to distract you with some storytelling that's intriguing for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to try and see if the spoon is ready to bend, because everything is free will and the spoon will bend. Yes, it became easy for her to bend it in the process. You ask when the spoon, or in her case, the nail file, when it's ready to bend, it will go. And the more often you do this, you'll actually be able to look at and feel and sense the spoon indicating that it's ready to go, that it's ready to do it. Forks are fun because you can do it again and again on the little tines and bend them in different directions. But we're going with spoons because when I try to do a fork, I end up stabbing myself. So.
And that's why you don't want to do it with a knife, is because you could cut yourself in the.
Don't grab the blades. Yeah, can't condone grabbing blades. So definitely spoons and forks. Any size spoon, any size fork, as long as it's made of steel.
And you can bend or you can twist. You get a feeling for what the spoon wants.
It'll tell you which way. You can feel it. You're having a conversation with the spoon, and it's pretty much mental, energetic from heart awareness as well. So we're getting way, way out there. So let's go back to the beginning and let's do, because it's fun. We're excited. We want to jump forward. And Angela says, don't do it with a nail file. I'm sure. The rolly eye thing. Absolutely. So let's start this right now. If you have a utensil, of course, hold it up. It can be somewhere near your face. Stop it. All right, now I got to do it too. Damn it.
Oh, man.
I can do a 1 second hang. You can cheat and glue and breathe on it. You got a big enough snoot to do it. All right, stop it, y'all. Hold your spoon normal, y'all. Hold your spoon. Look at your spoon. Ain't she pretty? She's all shiny and metal, and it's there in service to others. That's what the spoon is for. It's in service.
Levitating spoon.
With fingers attached, yeah. Fun with your spoon. All right. Give yourself a facelift. There you go. And all right, we have a nice spoon, and basically hold it down at the bottom, because you don't want to let your left brain, right brain try to argue about you heated it up. It's stainless steel. Human body heat is not hot enough to bend metal. But just to get away from that, hold it normal at the bottom. And I'm going to lead you through a meditation that requires you close your eyes. All right? So you're holding your spoon in the same place. Take a nice deep breath. I'm going to lead you through a visualization. Blow out. Breathe in through your nose, nice and slow, nice and deep. And blow out. Drop your shoulders. Relax your face. Breathe in positive energies, happy thoughts, bright white light. Big inhale, blow out to release and relax. Drop your shoulders again. And in your mind's eye, with your eyes closed, in your mind's eye, become aware or see that spoon right near your face. In your mind's eye, just imagine the spoon out there. And in your mind's awareness, allow a huge bright ray of light to come spinning in towards your spoon. And it can spin in from the right, from the left, maybe come down from the top, or come up from the bottom at an angle, come from the back, doesn't matter. You don't control that. Just ask the light to come all the way out, the beam of light, and for it to touch your spoon, and the light starts spinning, spinning. It can look like a spinning ball. It can look like a spinning disc. And it can be any color that you want it, that it wants to be, but ask it to spin as it touches your spoon. Spinning icon is barely touching the edge of your spoon. Tell that spinning light to spin as fast as it possibly can, just infinitely going faster and faster, spinning, spinning, and just going up and up and up and up and up and up and fast, incredibly fast spin. And it's just the happiest looking spinning lights, and it's going insanely fast. And you're letting it touch the spoon, and the spoon's enjoying it too. Take another deep breath. Now, while the spinning light is touching your spoon, ask the spoon if it will bend for you, please, or whatever words you want. Spoon bend, spoon please bend. I want the spoon to bend when it's ready. You're addressing the spoon, you're telling it what you want. Take another deep breath. Blow out. Open your eyes. Be here now. Take the spoon and look at it and see if the spoon wants to bend right now. Mine does. There it goes. Ta-da! Iris's did too. Now watch. I can't bend it any further.
Yeah, mine got to a stopping point.
That's
and
it.
Won't go.
And it will not. Look, my fingers are turning red and white underneath. It isn't gonna. Boom, boom, y'all, boom. Give me a bell ring, sweetie. And one, yeah, there you go. Yay! All right. For those of you that it did not bend, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
There's more because it rarely bends in the first few seconds. Sometimes it does. We're a little bit practiced. For those of you that it did not bend, your spoon just is not ready yet. Chris has got it. Excellent. Take a picture, send it to us, baby girl. That is beautiful. Those of you that have a flat, the spoon is still marinating. That's literally what it's doing. This is a free will thing. Set the spoon down on a table. Let right in front of you, stop touching it. Take your hand off. The spoon, the fork, whatever. Next, we need to distract you for about 2 to 5 minutes. Giving the spoon, let go of the outcome. Don't look at it. Don't talk to it. Let it have its space and listen to the story we're going to tell you. Iris, you first.
I'm going to tell a story that I don't think I've ever even told you about. I don't think. But it came to mind when we were talking about all this stuff. I've got a neighbor across, I live in like a court, and she's across the court from me. And she was always letting her dogs run free and all this stuff. And when I got my dog and I would walk her on the leash, here would come her dogs running over and jumping on me and trying to fight with my dog. And I went over and tried to talk to her and said, can you know, there's a leash law, et cetera, et cetera. Tried to, reason with her, and and it got to the point where it was just a constant struggle trying to deal with this woman,
Right.
and she's not the brightest bulb in the pack either. And just other triggers for
Few
me.
sandwiches short of a picnic, right?
Yeah, yeah. A few fries short of a Happy Meal. So at one point I was walking my dog, and she had this big, I mean, huge tree right in front by her front door. Um, and it was kind of in the middle of her yard, but from my angle, like if I was out walking around and I looked that way, I could tell sometimes she was behind the tree, like standing
Bring,
on her porch.
bring
Oh,
your hands. Your
sorry.
camera's going out of focus.
Yeah. So I would see her, like I'd see like she'd be smoking a cigarette or something. It'd be kind of shadowy, but I'd see the cigarette light up as she was smoking or something. And this particular time I was out there and I had just about gotten fed up with her, and I thought, yeah, woman, if that tree wasn't there, you wouldn't be able to be spying on me like you think you're doing, and I just thought about what if the tree wasn't there. The next morning, tree was laying in the court. And I went, ah!
My goodness, that's moving some serious molecules around.
And I had been going to theta healing classes at that time. It was like a weekend I'd been doing theta healing. So I was supercharged.
Yeah.
And it was like,
yeah.
And when it happened, I mean, I could just barely get by the tree, and it missed. It didn't hit any other houses. I live in a mobile home park, so that was a good thing. There was no other homes hit. It fell perfectly, and it left just enough room for my car to get by.
It laid
so
down.
I could leave. But
it laid down.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that is a
be
cool
careful
story.
what you think and say.
Especially going forward in human history from now. Yeah. We manifest easier and easier.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. That's cool. That's very related. All right. So for those of you that have a flat utensil, pick it up, look at it, ask it, do you want to bend now? See if it wants to, and give it a little push. And if you feel the resistance stop, woo, you took out a tree. Betty G. Keene said you took out a tree. and give your utensil a push and see if it feels like it's going to bend. If it does feel like it's starting to bend, then push on it and see how far it wants to bend. Is there anybody out there that your utensil has not yet bent? Because I have a second technique. Please write in the comments, yes, no. If you have a utensil that, yes, it bent, no, it has not.
Or is this something you're going to watch us do and play with later?
Because I have a second technique that I kind of want to experiment. Remember this one that I broke in half at another time? Well, it didn't just bend. It went to this point and snapped. And it's actually the exact same style and brand that this one is. Oops, sorry, you can't tell from that side. Yep. Yes, did not bend. All right, Vicky's still trying.
And Elle is still trying.
Elle is still trying to. Just so you know, sometimes this can take up to 20 minutes. Some of y'all got flatware that's very stubborn. Okay, that's okay. We're going to do it. We're going to try a second technique. And Tammy's is still trying as well. All right, we're going to try a second technique. Yep. Yeah. Angela says what happened to hers, what happens when hers snapped. I'm going to do a second technique, and I'm going to try bending this little piece. You can see my thumb turn red and white pushing on. It's not bending. All right. So I'm going to try it with this little piece. for this exercise. I haven't tried this before. This will be an experiment for me. So this visualization is a little bit different. At any time that I'm talking, if you feel like you want to pick up your utensil, you just intuitively feel like, maybe it'll bend now, and give it a try. Yes, please do. All right. You don't have to follow what I'm saying exactly past this point. Iris, intuitively, should I tell my story or should I go with the other technique and then tell my story?
Go with the other technique and then tell your story.
All right. A lot of you guys would probably, Vicky, especially you, would probably jive with this one. This is called the golden earth or golden light earth technique. I can't remember exactly what she calls it, but I think it's called the golden light technique. And it has to do with using energy coming out of the earth. Okay. And those of you that have a nice, strong, happy connection to touching the earth and being on the earth and standing on the grass outside and sitting on the rocks and the boulders and on the sand at the beach and the ocean and good stuff like that, this technique is really going to rock you. And you're touching trees and logs. This technique is going to speak to you. So pick up your spoon or fork, or in my case, spoon handle or anything like that. And close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, blow out and relax, release expectations, empty your mind, let go of the outcome. This is just an experiment. That's all it is. For fun. Take another deep breath, inhaling positive, clear thoughts and energy, exhaling to release and relax anything that no longer serves you. Inhaling positive white light energy, happiness and calm and fun. To release as you exhale, blow out. Releasing all expectations. Now, in your mind's eye, whether you're sitting down or standing or laying down or whatever you're touching is ultimately connected to the earth. The furniture is connected to the floor, connected to the house or the building, which is touching the earth. In your mind's eye, see energy or feel energy coming up through the earth, up through the building, your furniture, the clothes, and it's touching your feet. The energy is flowing up through your feet, up through your ankles, your legs. It's rolling, it's bubbling up through your torso, into your chest, and it's sliding now up your throat and across your face. This energy coming up from the earth is coming across your face, and it turns over the top of your head, and it cascades down the back of your head, your neck, and it slides sideways out your shoulders and down your arms. Feel it or see it sparkling and waving, energy pouring down your arms and into your hand and into your utensil. Allow the energy to flow up the front of your body, over the top of your head, down the back of your head, into your neck, shoulders, arm, hand, fingers, utensil, and fill up that utensil with that gorgeous golden earth light pouring and sparkling out of your hand and into that spoon. And the spoon is starting to pulse in my fingers. That is weird. That feels weird. I haven't seen that before. I haven't felt that before. And let it fill up with that light. You're entitled to that energy too. Enjoy it. Let it sink in. Take another nice deep breath. And when your utensil has all that nice energy in it, ask it if it would like to bend for you, if it would like to bend at all, if it would bend, please, however you want to say it. Take another deep breath. Open your eyes. And mine is not ready to bend. It does not want to bend. Irises did.
It
Very
bent
cool.
further than it was.
There you go. All right. So those of us that it did not bend, set it down on the table, on the computer, whatever you want to do, set it down. Don't touch it. Don't think about it. Leave it alone. If you got to sit on your hands, do that. Or if you want to close them, you can. And listen to me. Let me distract you with a story. Forget about the
Gather
mutation.
round, children, and listen to the
And I
story.
shall tell you a story of amazing things and what you can perceive and what can actually happen. Listen to this instead. And this is a true story. When I was 15, one day I stayed home from school because I was sick. I had female problems that made it hard to walk. So I stayed home and I was in bed by myself since I was 15. My parents were off at work. I was home alone and I was asleep. I was sleeping it off like a lot of women do then. And I woke up because I heard from my bed. My room was completely dark, windows, blinds, shades, everything. And I heard my bedroom door open. I heard the doorknob crack and pop, and I heard the frame and the hinges crack and pop like they always do when somebody opens the door to come into my bedroom. And I was groggy and I was sleepy, probably because of the medication I was on. And I could see the outline of a human in the doorway because there was light coming in from the bedroom across the hall, right across the hall. That door was open across the hall, so the light was pouring through to make a silhouette of the person standing in my doorway. And the person was so tall that at first I thought it was my dad. My dad taught high school. It was not normal for him to come home in the middle of the day because he knew I was home for female problems. There was nothing to check up on for him. So I sat up in bed and I was groggy and I wasn't upset or surprised or shocked, but I said, Dad? And the person in the doorway said, No, I'm sorry. And it was a much deeper voice. And I realized the silhouette was several inches taller than my dad. And it was a man, and it was a stranger. And he had opened the door to see if someone was in that room. And he was an intruder. But I wasn't thinking that way. I just saw there's a visitor in our house. It's how I perceived it. Okay. And he stepped back. He said, No, I'm sorry. He said, No, I'm not your daddy. And he pushed the door open a little bit, but he stepped back into the hallway. He had picked up my dad's shotgun. And as he stepped back into the hall, he set the gun down in the bedroom across the hall, which was my parents' room. And he leaned it back on the dresser that was right there inside the door. And he set that down. And I got out of my bed. I was fully dressed. And I got out of my bed and walked to the door. I'm still sleepy. He woke me up out of a dead sleep. And in my mind, I'm thinking, we have a house guest. We must be a good hostess. And I said, Can I help you with anything? He said, I don't. He said, No, I'm sorry to wake you up from your beauty sleep. And I said, That's okay. That's okay. I said, Can I get you something from the kitchen? Would you like can I help you? And he said, Well, yeah. He said, Actually, I could use a drink of water. And I said, Okay. And I pointed with my hand down the stairs. This was a split level house. And he went ahead of me down the stairs. There were 6 steps. And my computer's doing something funny. There we go. And he went down the head of me at a normal pace, and we walked into the kitchen. I got him a glass of water at the sink. We had well water. It actually tasted pretty good. And I turned around, and the kitchen was pretty big, and he was standing over by the kitchen table. And I said, This is for you. And he said, I turned around and I held it out to him, and he pointed at the counter beside me, and he said, You can leave it there. And I set it down and backed up, and he And I set it down and just started talking. So where are you from? Do you come around here often? I lived at the end of a dead-end street. There was no traffic. You didn't know while we were there unless you came down that road. It was in Jamestown, North Carolina. And I was just making small talk, and I sat and I moved around, took about 5 steps and sat down at the kitchen table because I was still groggy and sleepy. So I wanted to sit down, and that's what I was thinking. I want to sit down. I'm tired. And he walked over to the water, and I said, "So what's your name? What brings you around here?" I thought I was being conversational. And he just grinned and he answered me, but he answered into the glass while he drank. So I just heard blah, 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 blah. And I'm still groggy, and I'm sitting there. Eventually I put my elbow up and I'm like this on the table. And he said, "Look," he said, "I can tell you're sleepy. I'm going to let you go back to sleep and finish your beauty nap. And I'm going to lock the door behind me." And I said, "Really? How'd you get in the first place?" He said, "Oh, I came up through the garage, but I'll lock the door behind me." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I was getting sleepy again. I was actually having a hard time staying awake sitting there in the kitchen. Now, by this time, about 10 minutes had passed. And he said, and I said, "All right, can I see you out?" I'm still thinking hostessy thoughts. And he laughed. He said, "No, no." He said, "You need to go. You really need to go back to sleep. I will let myself out and I will lock the doors behind me. You need to be locked up more in this house. You need to take care of that." And I said, "I'll tell my dad." He said, "You do that." And he went back down the next flight of stairs and then out the garage. And I listened. A part of my brain said, "Stay and listen, see where he goes." I had lived in that house 20 years. I knew every single sound the house can make. And I listened, and I heard him go down through the garage, walk through the garage, and I heard him open the garage door. It was on giant rollers. And I heard the garage door come back down, and I heard the bolt shoot. And I was like, "Oh, cool. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?" And I staggered back upstairs, got back in my bed, pulled the covers up, went back to sleep, forgot all about it, and didn't tell anybody for 4 or 5 days. It completely left my mind. I told somebody on the school bus, a friend of mine. I was like, "Oh yeah, I just remembered something." Da 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 da. Somebody else overheard it, heard me say that, and told my sister, who was 6 years older than me, so she was 21, who flipped out, told my parents. My parents flipped out, said, "What is this we hear? Da, 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 da. Are you kidding? Are you okay? Are you trying to hide something? Did you get hurt?" And I was like, "Oh, no, perfectly fine. And I'm really sorry I didn't tell you, but there was nothing. I was never threatened." They're like, "A total stranger standing in the house
I'm
unannounced."
surprised they didn't ask about the gun.
Who didn't ask about the gun?
That your parents didn't ask why the gun was sitting in
He
their
put the
room
gun
again.
right back where he found it,
Oh, okay.
leaning against the dresser by the door. He put it right back where he found it. And she and my parents were all freaked out. They called the cops. A private investigator came and sat down and asked me a million questions about what did he look like, how tall was he, did he say anything, what was his name. And we found out the long and short and skinny of it was he was let's say an escapee from a mental hospital. And he had walked from house to house in our neighborhood trying the doors and windows, and the ones that were unlocked, he went inside and 2 other people saw him. He was digging through drawers, like in people's living rooms and in their kitchens. He didn't go in bedrooms. He didn't go in bathrooms, which most of the time a break-in person would, for looking for drugs or money. But he was going through drawers, like silverware drawers, and he would seem to be looking for something, and people would walk in on him and go, "Hey!" And he would run. He would run back out of the house. except for me. He didn't run away. He talked to me for a few minutes and then he left. And eventually they caught up with him. And he was just a mentally unstable person that had alternate realities happening in his head. He was not a violent person. By his history was not of violence at all. He looked like he was maybe in his mid-20s.
Wow.
Okay. And he was a gentle giant. He was huge. He was like 6'3", 6'5". He was big, but he was very calm and he was very apologetic for waking me up. And he told me to go back to sleep and he was going to lock the door behind him. And he did. And he did. So
That is.
it's amazing. Your perception of a situation can make or break that situation. If I had been hysterical and screaming, I might have gotten shot, maybe. Or something else might have happened. Instead, for some reason, my brain decided to stay entirely calm and congenial to him. And my naiveness of being 15 probably helped as well. Yes, I was very lucky, but I think the universe was working in my favor. I don't think it was luck. I think it was the universe letting him have an experience and letting me have a supernatural experience as well. Yeah, not everybody that he ran into was going to be hostile to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is fascinating.
It's really interesting. Yeah, and that's the only time that ever happened. So, for those of you that your spoon has not bent that one did it right away. Yep. For those of you that bent and also got very hot, yes. Yeah, they do. They can sometimes start heating up. What you're doing is you're asking the molecules to rearrange themselves. And mine does not feel like it wants to bend. Mine still doesn't feel like it wants to bend. I can give it a shot. No.
I
It's
tried to get mine to
it's
straighten up and it didn't want to. It wanted to bend more again. So
Yep, I may have talked too long. No, mine still does not want to bend. Yeah, it likes being snapped. Let me try something. Does anybody else want to bend? There's also a quantum technique where you hold up a, an already bent utensil and you quantumly entangle them in your mind's eye. And you're showing this one what you want it to do like that. You can imagine a field of light around both of them and imagine lines of energy or waves of energy bouncing back and forth between the two of them. You're letting them connect energetically, quantumly.
communicate.
They let them communicate with each other and tell it, that's what I want you to do. I want you to do what that one's doing. And set them down. A part of it wants to bend and a part of it goes won't, but it won't bend all the way. Yeah, it's not really doing it. There's barely a bend in it that you can kind of sort of see right there, but that's barely anything. This one's going to be a challenge for me. So I'm glad some of you others had fun with this and got to see how this happened. This can take, like I said, up to 20 minutes. Basically, you can set it down, go somewhere else, set it down in the kitchen, set it down by your desk or your TV or your computer, and look at it every now and then and say, are you ready to bend? You can say it mentally. You can say it out loud. And when you kind of feel yeah, let's give it a try, or heck yeah, let's do it, get some kind of positive response, reach over there and go, bloop, and it's going to bend for you. If you've got forks, you can ask those tines to move and peel them like a flower banana. So we
you
hope
know,
you guys had fun. Iris.
yeah. And another, recognize that this type of communication that you're doing with the spoon can be done with other things in your home. One of my favorite stories that Vienna Steibel tells, and she's the creator of Theta Healing, is she downloaded her sofa with information, letting it know how it was supposed to be. Um, it worked this time. Thank you, Tammy. And she told her, she let her sofa know, I want you to be comfortable and inviting so that when my guests come, they'll be comfortable and that sort of thing. And she said, evidently, she did it too well because then nobody wanted to leave. They would sit down and they'd stay and stay and stay. Yeah, but you can, we had there was a clock in a room we were doing a workshop in, and the clock was not working right. It was like going ding ding ding, it was stuck. And me and another girl looked at it and told the clock what it was supposed to be doing, and we took a lunch break and came back and the clock was working just fine. Things like that you can actually
Yes.
tell objects. Sometimes they're made from other things and they don't know what their purpose is.
Or they forget for a little while, so to speak. Just to put
Yeah.
it in 3D language, we are talking about this is 4D, 5D awareness, guys. This is you
Yeah.
using your natural 5D awareness when you're bending spoons like this. So, congratulations for everybody who's had a chance to go down that path yet. And Iris is exactly right. You can do this with almost anything that you need to happen when you cooperate, send it energy, show it what you want, and then let go. She left for lunch. The clock was all right. She told the tree needs to lay over. The next day, the tree was over. It took all night. All right, those are just two good examples. You got to ask what you want, let go of the outcome, and
Yeah.
the universe takes care of the rest. The universe takes care of the rest. Pay attention. Look at if it's still straight, look at your utensil and time. Give it another try.
And you can always
Feel
replay
it.
this if you need the meditations again, and also go
Yes.
to Ariana's website, which I've run a couple of times.
Barat.com. You can also find Ariana. You can just Ariana bending spoons on
Yeah.
YouTube. Use those search words, and it'll come up, and
Yeah.
you can see her talk through 4 different ways of doing this. I've only told you about 3 of them actually. Now I told you about the quantum entanglement method, but have fun with that. The more skeptical you are, usually the easier it is. Children can do it easier than adults can. And the people, oh, by the way, according to Ariana, you know what group of people take the longest to bend the spoon? Energy workers.
Really?
Because we have expectations about what energy is and isn't supposed to do. We've built up experiences that give us preconceived notions about what
Huh.
reality and energy is supposed to do. It does not do what you think it's supposed to do if you ask it to. If you ask it to and kind of basically make an energetic relationship around this one intention. You're setting an intention and you're doing it. Energy workers, it takes the longest. You got to let go. You got to set it down, distract yourself, come back. Yeah. So have fun with that. Rerun this show again if you'd like, or watch Ariana on YouTube. And sometimes a different teacher can crack a door that we've further opened that we just slivered for you. Explore, have fun.
I want to share too, real quick. Our friend Janet, the Empowerment Summit. The next one is going to be next, or this in July, and she'll have more information coming out about that. But in the meantime, you can go back and look at recordings of previous programs. Um, it's all about different types of energy work and
Healing
um,
methods, alternative
holistic
healing.
healing. Yeah, alternative healing. So if you go to novusdreams.org, and then up in the left hand corner you'll see 3 lines, and if you click on that, the menu expands and you can see. Because I know when I first went to the website, I'm like, it was just the big logo in the middle, and I was like, well, this is cool, but and then I realized, oh, there's the menu up there in the corner, and you just click on it and you can get to other pages.
It's similar to what you see on a cell phone screen.
Yes,
The little
yes.
three lines. Yeah.
Yeah, so take advantage and explore that. Next week we said we're going to talk about the Akashic records. Uh,
Ooh. This,
yeah.
yeah.
So
The record of everything on the other side. What is it? How do we access it? What's it for? Are there protocols? And what are the implications when we start tapping into that? Do ascended masters and angels help us do that? If they don't, who does? Or is that completely the wrong way to look at it? The answers and more are very intriguing. We'll talk about that more next week. Questions
Christine,
encouraged.
we're glad that you're going to try it, and appreciate you joining us. And then Christine Pugh, Gordon, thank you very much for being here. Everybody, thank you. We enjoyed sharing
Spending
this with
time with
you.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So till next week. Namaste.
Namaste. Good night.
Thank you for joining The Eyes of Indigo with Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. Music is Arcadia by Kevin MacLeod of Incomptech.com, licensed under Creative Commons. Visit our Facebook page for broadcast details at www.facebook.com/Eyes of Indigo. Show is copyrighted 2022 by Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. All rights reserved.